And right now, we are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick alongside Katie Greifeld taking you through to that closing bell with the global simulcast. It started. There's Carol Massar. There's Tim Stenovec in the radio booth. Welcome to our audiences across all of our Bloomberg platforms, including our partnership with YouTube. We had, I guess, Carol Massar, what could it be described as a bit of a rally in our hands, so we're seeing it fade just a touch into the closing bell.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you just look at the charts throughout the day. It's like up, down, up, down, up, down. Definitely finishing, it looks like. Oh, so I've heard. Hey, but the S&P 500, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's interesting. I just think everybody's thinking about next week, what do we get from the Fed? I know I keep saying that, but I really do think that's what the trade's about.
What do you think we're going to get?
I mean, it looks like we're going to get a rate cut, but I think it's more about what we get in 2026. What kind of, forward-looking policy information we get.
I'm focused on the here and now when it comes to Bitcoin. After yesterday's rout, up 5.4%, 91,115, Katie, for Bitcoin. I know you are now, because you co-anchored Bloomberg Crypto with me.
I did.
A crypto lover and expert after that experience.
Yeah, we had a great conversation with the CEO of Strategy. And Tim, I'll remind you, we anchored a crypto show together a few years ago, but that was in a totally different crypto environment. I don't have a good reason.
That was in real life, too.
That was in IRL, you could say. I don't have a good reason.
So you spoke a little bit earlier to Michael Saylor?
No, we spoke to Fong Li, because Michael Saylor, as we've been reminded, is not the CEO of Strategy.
He's the chairman and co-founder.
The co-founder, the chairman, as you say, but currently not the CEO.
I always forget that. I got to watch that interview.
Yeah.
All right, we get the closing bells here in New York, and an update for some of the major indices. The benchmark S&P 500 is going to add about 17 points on the day, or roughly about a quarter of a percentage point. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 180 plus points, or 0.4%. The NASDAQ indices each up, the NASDAQ composite, I say, up about 0.6%. The NASDAQ 100 up about 0.8% here on the day. And we should point out that we saw the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index move higher by about almost 2% on the day. But you take a look at the Russell 2000, as well as the S&P 400 mid-caps, both down in the red on the day.
Yeah, semi-name among my outperformers, one of my gainers. We'll get to that in just a moment. Back to the S&P 500, and we've got 216 names gaining ground on this Tuesday. Katie, 286 to the downside, one unchanged.
All right, let's take a look at the circle. Not too much in terms of green. You can see that information technology, given that it has such a big weight, rising about 0.8%, but overall only 3 sectors finishing in the green. You had 8 in the red. In terms of what didn't do too well today, you had energy, materials, utilities, healthcare leading losses. So not a lot of breadth behind this rally.
Did you ever see that reality show called The Circle?
I haven't, actually. I keep thinking of the stablecoin.
Yeah, it's not about the S&P 500.
What's it about?
It's fighting, love.
Oh.
What most reality
story of my
about.
career.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some of the individual gainers. Boeing, number one gainer in the S&P 500, everybody.
How about that?
I know, like for something different, up 10% and pretty much closing at its best levels of the session. The company planning to or expects to generate cash again next year, 2026, with positive free cash flow to reach the low single digits next year. Company still expects to eventually reach the $10 billion cash generation target outlined by the previous management team. This is according to the CFO. Keep in mind, here's the back story. The free cash flow at Boeing hasn't been positive on an annual basis since 2023, and the company faces $8 billion in debt payments next year. So, yeah, that's the balance sheet. Intel, yeah, also an outperformance. You mentioned the stocks earlier, Romaine. Intel, your number 2 gainer in the S&P 500, number 1 gainer in the NASDAQ 100, a gain of 8.6% here at the close. Continuing really a rally that we've seen that's pushed this stock up more than 100% year to date, up to its highest intraday since April of 2024, and the stock is up 121% in the past 4 months alone. So it's been on a move to the upside. Intel shares recently moving higher on talk, rumors, and analysts noting a potential deal with Apple to outsource production of its entry-level M-series chips. That analyst is TFN International Securities Analyst. So apparently making a post on X that he expects this deal with Apple, but nothing confirmed. So I'm being careful about this one. But investors pouring into Intel. Lastly, I just want to get to Shopify, up about 5% in today's session. Top gainer in the NASDAQ 100. This is after its merchants achieved record sales of $14.6 billion during the Black Friday Cyber Monday weekend, representing a 27% increase from last year. So some good news there. We're out there shopping. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Those are the gainers. I got the decliners. The worst performer in the S&P 500 today was the company formerly known as Square. It's now Block, down 6.6%. The company flagged weakness in gross payment volume for its Square segment in the fourth quarter compared to the 3 months earlier. This during a presentation at the UBS Global Technology and AI Conference. On the Square side, we continue to expect GPV growth in the low to double-digit range, said Block's Owen Jennings. So a slight deceleration relative to Q3, largely driven by some weather events in October. Once again, shares of Block today down 6.6%. And then American Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin miner slash hoarder, co-founded by Eric Trump. This fell as much as 51% earlier in the session. Trading was halted a couple times. Shares fell by the end of the day down 39%. This after restricted shares of the company were freed up to be traded. Shares from a private placement that took place before American Bitcoin merged with Griffin Digital Mining became available on Tuesday. This according to the crypto miner in a post on the social media platform X by Eric Trump, rather. Once again, shares of American Bitcoin down 39% today. And finally, Signet Jewelers shares slid by 6.8%. This is the parent company of Kay, Zales, Jared, and many more. Worst day going back to April. Signet's fourth quarter same-store sales forecast fell short of the consensus estimate. The company expressed a note of caution on the consumer. The company's CEO said the, quote, measured fourth quarter outlook on external disruption since late October and potential continued softness in consumer confidence. Interestingly enough, Black Friday, not a major sales event for most of Signet's brands. They tend to sell closer to Christmas because engagements pick up during the holiday season and through Valentine's Day. Wedding-related jewelry typically makes up more than half of Signet's sales.
All right, a quick check on yields here, a mixed day, and we talk about this idea of what the Fed does next in the market, despite what some of the Fed funds futures suggest with regards to options pricing, not necessarily reflected in treasuries. You did see short-term treasuries move lower, down about 2 basis points, long-term treasuries slightly higher here on the day, but overall, this is a bit of stasis as folks await what comes next. What's next?
All right, folks, just want to get to some earnings crossing the Bloomberg terminal. GitLab just down about 0.8% as it crosses the Bloomberg terminal. That stock is off about 23% year to date, so building on some of those losses in the aftermarket. Third quarter adjusted EPS, 25 cents a share. That's a nickel better than what the street was forecasting. Third quarter revenue coming in better than forecast, 244.4 million versus an estimate of 239.5. But here's the outlook. Sees fourth quarter revenue, 251 million to 252 million. The street estimate is kind of right there, 251.9 million. And then the company sees fiscal year revenue, 946 million to 947 million. It had seen 936 to 942 million. So not quite sure why the street is seeing so much disappointment. Stock down about 9% here in the aftermarket.
Let's talk about Marvell, of course, the chip technology company here. It looks like the headline actually is not the earnings here. The company is said to be buying Celestial AI, the company actually making that announcement officially in a statement right now. It doesn't appear that terms of the deal are included in this situation, but you're seeing the shares move lower by about 2% here in the after-hours trade.
Should we talk about lunch?
Yeah, you want to talk about those slop bowls?
Yeah.
Apparently, everybody's kind of over them. That, those bowls where you throw some rice and some other stuff and then you throw everything on top of it. Well, apparently, people are over it. Consumers want something different. They want something you can hold in your hand like a good old sandwich.
Yeah, Steve Ells, the co-founder of Chipotle and the burrito bowl that rocketed the chain to lunchtime fame, has moved on. At a Manhattan location of his new concept counter service, there's a red neon sign. It depicts a lunch bowl with a slash through it. It's a bowl-free zone, guys. They say they love sandwiches and anything as long as it can go on bread. So long live the slot bowl, or is it the end of an era?
Well, first I'd just like to point out, counter service, I love this place, by the way. And I went there a few times before I even realized it was actually owned by the co-founder of Chipotle. But the problem with the bowls is they just became so prolific, right? Everyone does this. It was unique at one point, but now it's like, every bodega on the corner here is doing a slot bowl.
Well, it's interesting to see how that's being expressed in the stock market as well, because you think about Sweetgreen, you think about Kava, they're both down year to date. But you compare that to 2024, I mean, these were the all-stars in the stock market, up triple digits. And it's interesting just how quickly the winds have changed on specifically these two.
Do you think pricing had an issue with it as well?
I have to imagine. I mean, you're paying $20 for a sad salad with not that much protein on it. That's how I feel.
You could get the new ultra high protein Sweetgreen one that they offer. Over
Oh, right. Isn't it 100
grams
grams of protein?
Yeah.
What do? They put like a foam on top or something? Like
It's
Starbucks?
a lot of chicken. I think 3 scoops of chicken, some broccoli, and
Some
then
crushed up crickets, perhaps.
tahini dressing also. I don't think the crickets are included.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but it gets to this idea of like why trends change, like whether it's economic or whether it's just social and cultural. We've had our fill of bowls and now we're on to sandwiches.
Listen,
maybe.
I always loved a
And
sandwich.
why sandwiches? You said handheld. Why not like, I don't know, a patty, empanada, a hoagie,
That works too.
grinder,
I hope
Right?
someone's
a
listening.
sub?
Yeah. Are you giving people
What about
ideas?
a pierogi? Yeah.
Is that handheld though?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can handhold anything.
Grab it with your
You can't
paws.
hold anything.
truly.
I like the initiative there.
How about a cocktail? That's handheld. Oh, okay.
Yeah, bring those back.
Yeah.